Minister of Information asserts that the Syrian citizens are capable of reconstruction after defeating the terrorist gangs. The Syrian army continues to storm terrorist hideouts throughout the country. The state of chaos and insecurity continues in Libya due to the spread of armed militias and government inability. Good afternoon, welcome to our news bulletin. I'm Dania Nizam. On the anniversary of the October War of Liberation and the Correctionist movement, the Minister of Information, Omran al-Zoubi, inaugurated an exhibition of photographs entitled The Steadfastness and Dignity of Syria in Dama Rose Hotel in Damascus yesterday. During his tour, he asserted that the exhibition sheds light on Syria's economic and service activities in spite of terrorism and the sanctions imposed on the country. It also shed light on the victories of the heroes of the Syrian army. The representatives of the institutions asserted that the difficulties facing them did not prevent them from continuing their efforts and exceptional measures to offer their services to all citizens. 2 citizens were killed and 4 others were wounded, including a teacher, when terrorists fired mortar shells on the school of Lubaba al-Hilaliya in al-Qassa, near al-Faruq school, and the garages in the area of al-Abbasiyin in Damascus. The Christians in Syria held joint prayers today in the Armenian church in Bab Sharqi area in Damascus for the peace of the souls of the children martyrs of Al-Risala school that belong to the Armenian church. The children all who died due to the terrorist attack with mortar shells that fell over the school bus and the classes too. The prayers were attended by the Syrian Arab Republic Mufti Dr. Ahmed Badruddin Hassoun, Dr. Ahmed Badruddin Hassoun and the bishops of the Catholic, Orthodox and Armenian churches attended the mass prayers. The Armenian Bishop National Bandian delivered a speech addressing the martyrs' families and all the Syrian people, expressing grief, sorrow over the death of the children, stressing that terrorism failed to gain the resilience of the Syrian people.
It is indeed a criminal act. Everyone speaks about revolution, about struggling for freedom and democracy, but what that we did experience last week, it is just criminal, and armed people, they are targeting the future of Syria. We choose the way of serving Syria through our school to build our future and to give future or to new generation the principles of love, the principle of tolerance and understanding, and they are targeting this. But at least what they did nothing. They just gave us angels, and our power or our weapons are to struggle and to go on and to go further, to give these principles of love, to give our faith, to give our love and our understanding to new generation. And that is what made Syria. I was scared, but after this attack, I'm more stronger. I was scared because of my children in my school, but after this attack, I'm strong because I have these angels, and I am strong because and through this strength, I'm going to carry, to deal with this tragedy and to carry the sorrows of my people and my school.
Syrian Arab army continued to comb the orchards in the environs of the town of Deir al-Safir in the Damascus countryside. The army discovered a tunnel used by the terrorist gangs. In Ruknuddin, a Syrian Arab Army's unit stormed a terrorist hideout of a gang that committed a massacre against the family of Ghassan Youssef 3 months ago. In the Homs countryside, the Syrian Arab Army unit found a lorry in the area of Al-Hadath and Mahin carrying more than 100 explosive devices with a total weight of 5 tons. The terrorist gangs parked the vehicle on the highway between Al-Hadath and Mahin. The engineering experts defused the explosives. In the Idlib countryside, our armed forces killed 30 terrorists in Saraqib. Most of them were non-Syrians. The army also destroyed their equipment, including a storehouse of ammunition in Ariha. A Russian plane landed in Lattakia with 44 tons of various medical compounds, including 100 types of health materials necessary for first aid. The Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the Russian Ministry of Health to send these materials in order to help the displaced families as a result of the crimes of armed terrorist gangs. As the media instigation against both Syria and Yemen continues, a number of information activists organized a cultural seminar entitled "The Role of the Media in Reporting Events, Yemen and Syria as Two Models." A number of work papers were presented to expose the instigations against Syria and Yemen in order to ignite sectarian wars. The participants in the seminar discussed a number of political questions showing examples of false fabrications carried out by a number of mass media financed by the Gulf states against both Syria and Yemen. In Iraq, the armed forces repulsed terrorist attacks against military roadblocks in the governorates of Salahuddin and Baghdad. 25 terrorists were killed and one of their vehicles was destroyed. The Iraqi army also carried out several preemptive operations against al-Qaeda hideouts in the areas of Al-Huwayja, Al-Bu Yusuf and Al-Dora. 268 terrorists were captured, including 11 leading members of the so-called the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant. In Libya, one person was killed and 3 others were wounded when armed terrorists attacked a camp in Tripoli. Meanwhile, clashes continued between government forces and armed militias. A state of emergency was declared when violent acts erupted again in Tripoli. In the same context, a general strike was announced in the country for 3 days in mourning for the death of the Libyans in clashes in Tripoli, in which more than 40 people died and 500 others were wounded. The clashes between the army and the militias took place as those militias were trying to enter Tripoli. There were strong explosions and fire from heavy weapons throughout the capital. The British paper, the Sunday Times, asserted that both Saudi Arabia and Israel prepared a joint plot to attack Iran. The paper said that Israeli Mossad agents met with senior Saudi security officials to prepare an emergency plot in case an agreement was signed between Tehran and the international community. The plot included a large-scale attack on Iran under the pretext that Iran would not stop its nuclear project. The paper added that the Saudis are angry with the U.S. and fully ready to assist Israel. They have given Israel the green light to use Saudi airspace in the attack. Saudi Arabia also expressed readiness to supply Israel warplanes with fuel. The paper said that the signature of the agreement would motivate the Saudis to cooperate with the Israelis. In Turkey, Erdogan forces used force again to disperse a massive demonstration in front of the court building in Istanbul, calling for punishing the one responsible for the injury of the child during a demonstration against Erdogan's government last summer. The demonstrators raised slogans asking Erdogan's government to reveal the responsible over the injury of the 14-year-old child, Berkan Alvan, and hand him to justice. Erdogan's forces' response came with using water hoses and violence to disperse the demonstration and arrested some of the protesters. For more information, you can always visit our website on syriaonline.sy. After the break, it's over to Vanya with our economic and business news. As always, victory is imminent. God bless you all.